Hello, welcome back to Geek, Feng Shui. I'm your host and game master, Bob Sellers JR. Shout out to our friends at Chaotic Good Brewing here in Casson and Mantorville, Under Pressure in Golden Valley, South by Southeast and beautiful Pine Island, all three in wonderful Minnesota. If you haven't come to visit, plan on it, or visit venues in your area of equal family, at kid and fun-friendly venues with calendars filled with opportunity to kick back and chillax. And Saturdays, you can always just limber up and do yoga and not get judged if you drink before, during, or after, because it's pure entertainment, particularly with video and photo evidence. Just saying. Check out my books at sellersjr.com, my overall website at geekfengshui.com, and this channel, which I appreciate everybody like, subscribe, say the bell. Did I say like? I think I said like. Please like, subscribe, set the bell, and comment. It's moderated, but we do allow commentary. If you don't see it right away, I do check, and if it passes a sniff test, it will be posted unless you misspell your foul language and leave some ludicrous comments that do amuse me, but don't have any place on my channel's commentary. Sorry.
Good day, good day.
So we're doing Super Tuesday on a non-Tuesday, because I'm following my less is more
Have a good day.
plan of videos.
Have you got a contract?
Also getting ready for the changeover from Wrath of the Lich King Classic and World of Warcraft to Cataclysm Classic, which should be happening next month. And I have a game plan. At first I was a little disappointed they were going to do it the way they're doing it. I will admit it. You know, it got me to thinking, do I really want to keep playing this? And I thought, well, and I went back and thought about Cataclysm, and when I played it retail, I didn't have anywhere near the problem with it that a lot of people had. So I have a game plan. I'm pushing. I have a max level Death Knight right now, and I'm getting my priest and my paladin and my rogue up to max level. I will start a disc priest. I will talk about the issue of a disc priest situation that came about in the game. I guess I'll touch on it here. For those that don't play World of Warcraft and those that do, you have a class, and there's several rogues, paladins, what have you, that have basically three different flavors. And variants of the classes can be such as druids, paladins, priests, and I'm having a mental mind break. But anyway, they can have a healer, or they can have a healer DPS, or they can have just DPS. So in the case of a priest, you have holy, and you have disc, and you have shadow. Well, they all are spellcasters. Oh, shamans, I'm sorry. Shamans were the fourth one, my bad. And anyway, they're all spellcasters, and yes, you can heal in all three, but the more you get away from a healing spec, the worse your healing will be. Now, if you're soloing and healing yourself, it's not a big deal. But when you're in a 5-man that requires heavy healing, that's when the truth comes out. I don't care what math you use. I'm a math major. And I can tell you, you run the math, and push comes to shove. I have healers that are spec'd and geared, and there's some instances that I even struggle with keeping the team up for stupidity. So it's not just the general healing that you have, it's the stupidity involved of the other players. So anyway, the situation we ran into didn't really have to do with bad healing per se. What it had to do was an old scheme, as it were, that used to be ran into. I remember having run into a lot in retail. I don't think I've seen it yet in Classic, where you queue up typically with a friend or guildie to get them fast queues as a healer, and then you either leave. Well, I've seen them do that where the person actually admitted they did it. But the other thing is that they do that. That isn't the bad one way to do it, to be honest. Because you're upfront about what you're doing. We've had tanks do that. They'll queue with it. Later on, and I don't remember what expansion it was, they fixed that because if you join as a group, you'll leave as a group. Segue to an example of that is in situations where someone's being obnoxious, or a couple, or even three or four. I've had at least a handful of situations in retail. I have not had to do it, can't do it, because they don't kick as a group that I know of. Had somebody that was just obnoxious in the group. And what the best example is, you get into a group, and I've had it where you had four of the other people are all in the same server and all the same guild. They're running together. And they get obnoxious and pissy and making bad comments, and sometimes they even just kick you because they feel the power of having four to vote. So what I do is my lawful evil self is when they get to be that way, and say I'm on my priest, for example, because I used the priest earlier. I haven't, again, it hasn't happened to her yet, but anyway, I say I'm on my priest, and they're being obnoxious. I'll kick one of them and say, kick the stupid priest or something like that. And they're so busy, because I'll wait till they're in a boss fight. So I'll wait till they're really distracted. And I will do that. And they click OK, and all of a sudden all four of them are gone. And if it's before the first boss, they now have a timer before they can queue again. I've done that enough times that it is sadly quite amusing.
I should not be seen in this area.
Oh. So we have somebody. Came to me. Isn't that sweet? Help me get this done early. So anyway, going back to what had happened with this particular instance, it involved a priest. I was on my road, and I run Healbot. And one of the side advantages of Healbot is it tells you the primary spec of the other characters in the 5-man that you're running. So I hadn't really paid that close attention. I hadn't really noticed it. I did after this because of the way it blew up. I go through and I mark the tank and I mark the healer, and 9.9%, 9.9 out of 10 times they don't really care if they're marked. There's some people absolutely refuse to be marked, which is asinine in and of itself. But anyway, there was a priest. He was a shadow priest, and he was the only one I could see that was a healer. Obviously, I'm on my rogue, so I'm not a healer. And so we're going through, and the healing wasn't bad yet. We didn't run into any situations that necessarily would have overruled or overpowered the healer. As I talked about other instances, you're running as a 5-man. And my rogue had maxed her, or at the point had maxed her lockpicking. So we're going into, I can't remember which, it's a dungeon that you can have Upper City and the prison. I don't know if it's Black Rock Spire. I think that's the one. Well, anyway, when you come in, or whenever when you're doing, there's a gate that's locked, and that's also how you level up your lockpicking as a rogue later on. And so I'd unlock the door and say, hey, why don't we go over here and get the big boss? Chaotic evil again, or lawful evil again here. So they would go over, and it's great XP because you're doing a boss that you normally wouldn't do unless you A, had the key to the lock, or you had a rogue Izu in there that could get you to go over there. So we go through, and you have to clear a lot of mobs. And we did. We got down to the boss, and just about to the point where we're going to pull the boss, the tank disconnected. So he's sitting there just running in place. which sometimes can be a 5-second thing, can be a 5-minute thing. So we're all just kind of sitting there waiting. And what does a healer do? Now remember, I knew they were shadow. And it's like, well, I don't know what this guy's up to. So far, he's doing okay. He shifts into shadow form and goes over and pulls the boss. Knowing full well the tank isn't there. The group is probably without a healer is going to be, I don't know what he was thinking. So to try to save us, I did a vote. I kicked out, or I picked up, or I set off a vote to kick the fake healer. That's what I basically said. A fake healer who pulled boss. So I did explain why. And they did. They kicked him, and we managed. I vanished, and they came back in, and the tank eventually came back, and we finished. Well, all of a sudden later on, I get this whisper from somebody. You get crazy messages from people. And this guy was, and I'm pretty sure he was European because he was talking about, almost like he was talking about a soccer match and how he was going to vote the pitch and match and stuff. And I think he was unhappy about being kicked and thought the reason was a bad healer. And again, that was not necessarily a reason why he was kicked.
Survey the area soon.
The reason why he was kicked was he pulled the boss. So, anyway, it's just so he started whispering, just going off, and he was just, it wasn't. I grew up around a lot of Finnish people, first generation Finns and Norwegians, and I can tell the lingo, and after watching enough television from over in Europe, that I'm pretty sure that it was somebody who thought they were talking about it. It's just the language was enough that I realized that they were he was very upset for being called a fake healer, more so than pulling the boss. And again, that was part of the reason he was kicked, because he was masquerading as a healer, and I will call it as I see it. That is masquerading as a healer. I call it slumming. Whether it's a politically correct term or not, I really don't care, because I've slummed as a DPS, as a tank, or as a healer, because it's just more relaxing when you don't have to focus on tanking or healing. Anyway, I hit ignore on the character, and once you do that, it ignores all of your interactions with that person as far as looking for group goes. So if you have that person on ignore, and you want to do it when you're inside the 5-man or the raid, as it were, because then it somehow flags it so that you never see him again. I don't know if it's across all characters or not. I have enough characters that they don't know it's me, unless they see the guild name. But after that, we got discussing it with the players that were in the instance with me, and I said, well, I heal as a tank, as a feral druid, and I thought, that's true, you could do that. So I started paying attention. Again, I've never kicked anybody. It's just they fail, and they get booted on their own, or they quit and leave. We've had that happen enough times to know that the healers get irritated that they are not able to get the credits and stuff, because you have. Let's see. That's right. Let's do this.
There's always more where that came from. Done shopping sleeping for the day?
But yeah,
I must
that's the
find my way
sad
back.
tale of
Goodbye.
how people are
I hope to see you soon.
will come around to get in. Now, going back to the scams again, that reminded me. I haven't exactly seen that directly where they queue up as a healer. Now, the reason I say they have to have lead is because when you're the leader of the group and somebody leaves, you get to requeue people, and you can have them queue as they would queue as a different instance, and then they pick the role they want. They can pick a different one because they're already in the instance. And the people in the instance don't know it until suddenly, boom, they're in a new instance. So yeah, it's funny how they do that. Such as the case of an MMO where you're dealing with other people other than Assassin's Creed or other single players, where you only have to deal with it yourself. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. Check the store. I checked it earlier in the week so that the timer would be set. Oh, we get Eugene. He will show up the next time we come in. I won't have to resave here. But yeah, that's the story of how people will try to manipulate the groups and get fast queues, because DPS can take a while. Sometimes healers take a while. And I know that if I queue as a healer and DPS, I have yet to see it put me in as a healer. Most times I'll get DPS for whatever reason. But anyway, that's that. That's our Feng Shui for the day. Check out our friends at Kieta Good Brewing here in Castle Manorville, Under Pressure in Golden Valley, and South by Southeast in beautiful Pine Island. All of them that I've mentioned are in beautiful Minnesota. Check out venues in your area. Come visit ours, and check out their calendars for all kinds of events. You can go and just chillax and kick back and enjoy with the family, the pets, the kids. Or they can watch you do yoga on Saturdays here in Castle Mantorville, where you are not judged if you drink before, during, or after, but we might take some photo and video evidence because it's pure entertainment. Just saying. Check out my books at sellersjr.com, my overall website, geekfengshui.com, and this channel, which I do really appreciate. And I have appreciated all the likes, subscriptions, and the setting of the bells. It really is helpful for this creator. And commentary is welcome too, as long as it passes the sniff test. It is moderated for a reason. The trolls are the trolls, when their full diapers overflow. So please like and subscribe. And if you want to not see the videos, I think the only way you can do that is to subscribe and set the bell to have no notifications, and you won't see them. Just saying, it's a win-win situation. You win, I win, we all win. So anyway, have a good one. We'll see you in the next video. Did I say like? I think I said like. I remember to say like. Subscribe, set the bell, comment too. Have a good one.